Episode 201, Study Session 9, Ethical Principles. Introduction. Ethical issues have implications for cultures. Cultural diversity is surely a factor in discussing ethical issues. In this study session, we will explain the concept of ethics principle in social work. Learning outcomes. When you have studied this session, you should be able to provide rationale for ethics in professional social work and express respect in social work. Rationale for ethics. The core of social work's philosophy is a profound belief in the innate worth and dignity of every human being. This conviction emphasizes our code of ethics, and if we want to help people effectively, it must permeate all our practical decisions and activities. Hancock, 1997. Therefore, every human being has intrinsic value that is not affected by personal success or failure in physical, economic, social, or other issues, etc. Our culture in Nigeria has inculcated in us the concept of respect for elders, especially, and for human life generally. However, this conviction goes a little further by demanding from all social workers that all persons be accorded respect without any conditions attached. And when we are faced with people whose antisocial or self-defeating behavior has brought them to our service, we, the social workers, must not take refuge in such statements as "there is some good in everyone" or "no one is all bad." These statements are counterfeit in terms of this principle because they show that we are still looking for what we determine are respect-worthy attributes. This is not a valid path to the living expression of the principle. By means of this conceptual separation of the person, that is the client, from his or her behavior, we can then ask, what is this innate human dignity of the individual that this principle requires us to respect? Every person can be respected as a one-of-a-kind human being, a unique event in the whole history of the human family, one that family resembles notwithstanding, has never happened before and will never happen again. A humanistic philosophy enjoys that we must respect every human being simply because of his or her uniqueness and because he or she shares with us the human condition. The conviction that this innate dignity and worth of the individual human being cannot in any way be diminished or lost through any deficiency, attribute, or failure in or of the person makes it possible to respect each other and every individual we meet, regardless of the circumstances in which we meet them. Hancock, 1997. Ethical principles separate the self-worth of every client from his or her attributes, actions, or behavior, and this separation is used by social workers in helping so that the clients themselves will use the concept as a means of building, restoring, or enhancing their damaged self-esteem. Over time, with the relationships, this respect can act as a corrective, helping to erase the self-destructive messages from their past. Middleton Moss, 1994. The concept of behavior as being separate from the person is constructively helpful to us in another way. Respect for the dignity of every person does not mean that we accept and condone their behaviors, whether they are breach of the law, of ways of relating, or as styles of living that are inimical to the well-being of others, of society, or of the person. We need to hold on to the distinction in our thinking and feeling, and to make it clear to the clients, social workers must understand that if they are to be truly helpful, their commitment to the respect principle does not give implicit approval to the client's actions or way of social functioning. Therefore, people are entitled to respect for their worth and dignity, simply by right of their being, which is totally separate from, indeed, unrelated to their pattern of thinking or acting. Hancock, 1997. Expression of principles in practice. The persons who come to us, that is social workers, for help with a problem almost always arrive with damaged self-esteem. Furthermore, in certain instances, this feeling of low self-worth may be in itself a part of the cause of the problem. It is also likely that many clients may not be unaware of this. The social workers, using ethical principles, would first work on the clients to make them feel that it is safe to be themselves. Even without the pressure of needing help from a social agency, there may be a deep-seated conviction that the self is unworthy. When trouble strikes, the very existence of the problem may seem to confirm that unworthiness. The clients see themselves as being unable to resolve the difficulty by their own efforts, and this adds more weight of evidence to the anticipated verdict of not good enough. Therefore, the old feeling painfully replay in their heads. This conviction may be masked in some instances by resentment and or anger about having been ordered to get help, as in child neglect cases, or being placed on probation with the requirement that they change their antisocial behavior, perhaps required to attend a specific re-education group. The social workers are expected to know that clients' anger may be a cover-up for very real fear of possible consequences. It is not unusual for clients who have had unhappy experiences with previous authority figures to be very much on guard against being treated as if they were inferior in such situations. For some, the experience of being treated with respect as persons may be totally unexpected. They may struggle to accept that it is not phony, and they may express this openly. Social workers need to be disturbed by this reaction as long as they are sure of their genuineness. They should know that people are not easily fooled by phony civilities. The ethical principles can be seen clearly as a specific expression of the cardinal principle of respect for the worth and dignity of every human being. Powell, 1969. Study session summary. In this study session, we noted that the innate dignity and worth of every human being is the primary ethical principle of professional social work. Respect for the person can be achieved by conceptually separating the self from the behavior and or needs that bring them to social work services. Therefore, respect can begin to have constructive effects as it addresses implicitly and or explicitly the damaged self-esteem of the troubled persons. The troubled person's primary need is to be allowed to be him or herself. Social workers' respect for an acknowledgement of the worth of this self is the basis from which constructive change can begin. End of study session 9. Thank you for listening.